Hello, welcome back. Today we're doing the second day. Today we're doing the second day, and as you guys can tell, I am driving this time. And well, we're back with Andre, which is awesome. I gotta say a huge thank you for letting me well, drive this beautiful Model 3, which you guys are gonna get a chance to see in once we get to our destination. We're gonna be doing the same trip we did yesterday, which is, I believe, about 60 kilometers round trip. So we're doing this through the city, over the bridge, on a highway, up to the mountains, and back down again. So it gives a really good experience to kind of see all the different types of roads, different types of scenarios, and that's why we're doing this. As you guys know, I am really interested in driving the Model 3, and today my goal is to bring you guys, well, as much information as I can about the differences between a Model S and Model 3. We're gonna get right into it, and the very first thing I'm gonna tell you is this car is really weirding me out. Adjusting the mirrors when we sat in the car, it's basically done through the screen and it's done through the little knobbies. And from now on, I'm gonna call those things knobbies, okay? So basically, it's really interesting to me to do that, mainly because, as you guys know, on an S, it's not like that. Previous video was him, Andre, driving my Model S as a Model 3 owner. Today's video is me driving the Model 3 as a Model S owner. By the way, this seems so open to me right now, like it's like airy. I'm not sure if these pillars were any thinner, I would actually feel like it's there's nothing there. Might as well be a convertible.
Almost, with a glass window running all the way to the back.
Yep.
That's something I was mentioning with the S, is that being a bigger car, being more complex interior, it feels a little smaller inside the car than, say, this 3.
Yeah, it does. It is actually quite, to me, it is quite amazing. I mean, when I'm in this car right now, everything just feels like there's nothing here. There's nothing. It's just the steering wheel and this screen right here. 15-inch glorified iPad that is stupid smart, right?
It's an awesome thing, and it does take a couple minutes to get used to. There is nothing in front of the driver. It's all just off to the right.
And I actually thought this would be a little bit weird, and I know everybody and their grandmother made a video about this, so I'm going to keep this part short. I really did always think it's going to be really weird not having anything, you know, especially my gauge clusters and all that stuff, having it right here. But let me tell you, honestly, as a real actual driver, I can tell you, you don't need this information. It's nice to have it, but you don't need it. But that said, even if you do, the speed is so, it's right there. You can't miss it, even if you want to. In fact, all the information is right there, and I'm pretty sure that camera behind me is capturing all this. So it's, you really have no, you're not missing anything. You're not saying, okay, well, yeah, you're not missing anything.
I just find it's a quick glance down to the right to check your speed, verify that you're on Autopilot or any of those other features. I don't miss the dashboard at all.
I have to agree with you. It seems like this is a little bit louder than the Model S. I don't know.
Yeah, you get a little more of the road noise coming in from all the edges.
Yeah, I don't, but not by much. I can't actually fault it. I just notice it, mostly because I drove to his place with the Model S and it's 5 morning drive. But it's not as much as I thought. You said this, you mentioned this yesterday, but I honestly don't think it's as much as I thought it would be. I was expecting a little bit more road noise.
And I was getting used to the fact that on the 3, adjusting the speed's done with the knobbies, not with the dedicated.
Yeah, it's so weird. So if the back camera does capture it, so I'm adjusting the speed from here rather than what I have, the little stock I have on the Model S. So yesterday the Model S did this road flawlessly except for the one turn. For the one corner. So we, you know, that video, I put that into the video actually while we were editing that yesterday. So what we're doing is we're keeping it to the speed limit, seeing how this deals. Now you do have the version 9 update on this.
Yes, I do.
So we are very curious. He was very curious yesterday, especially once we made it to the top. He was very curious how this one will handle compared to, you know, the Model S Autopilot. So yeah, my Model S yesterday chose this lane as well.
And there's your warning on the 3 of the pay attention to the steering wheel.
It pops up. It's more, I find that it's more prominent. You said, I believe you said that too.
I found I've missed that notification more.
Okay.
But when the top end by the steering, the speedo starts pulsing that blue, that becomes very hard to ignore.
Autopilot so far is doing exactly what I expected it to do. I find that, I mean, even the turn is very, very smooth. I don't see any issue with Autopilot. What I do find though is it hasn't slowed down one bit for this particular turn, which is something we talked about yesterday on my Model S, that it actually made that little, even if it's just a 1K an hour difference for the turn, it made that slight change. This one was a pretty wide, I guess, more of a wide of a turn, so it shouldn't necessarily slow down. But I did notice yesterday on mine, it did slow down by 1K.
Just a little bit to kind of acknowledge that the turn's there.
The other thing I did notice is the steering wheel for in the turns on the Model 3 seems to consistently move. Have you noticed that?
A little twitchy on it.
Yeah, it's a little twitchy. Whereas the Model S, I didn't notice that. I noticed that it's more, it churns, but it just churns how much it needs it. And even when it's adjusting, it's a slight adjustment. So that is kind of interesting to me. I don't know. The software technically should be the same.
Pretty close. And theoretically, I should have newer hardware for the actual cameras and sensors.
Yeah, you should.
It was built in September, August of this year.
I have to admit, I am pretty impressed at just how this car feels. It's not flashy in the wrong way. It's flashy in all the right ways. This open space has got to be, I mean, it's still blowing my mind right now. It's really weird to me, but in a good way, I think. I can't tell what's going on because it's really open, and it's the simplicity is incredible.
You should be looking forward to your drive home when you get back into your S and see all of the stuff around you. Like, wait, but what was going on before?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It really is. I think it, like, I'm used to it. This turn, the Model S took it flawlessly. This was the first turn. So I am curious if we're gonna start slowing down. So, oh, there we go.
All right.
So far, so good. Let's see what she's gonna do.
I haven't been brave enough to try this on my own.
She crossed it heavily. But you know what? It was a cross right in the corner, but then
she recovered quite well.
Recovered immediately right after that. So that's actually a surprise. Wow. I was surprised that it actually crossed it as much as it did, but it didn't. I think it has to do with that brake. Yesterday we thought ours that the Model S crossed it.
I think I made mention that seemed to be cutting kind of close. This was definitely more prominent.
This was definitely over. This was not a question. When I looked at the video yesterday, when I looked at the, I reviewed that particular footage. I'm not even sure if I put that into the video, but I did review that. So when we went on that turn, it didn't seem to have any problems. It actually did hit the line. Looks like the back tire may have crossed it, whereas the front tire hit the line. The Model 3 nags more than the Model S. I'm kind of surprised about that. No, I just think this is one of those cars that it just does the job. But going back to the acceleration, look, honestly, nobody needs to, be an idiot. And I think if at the end of the day, we touched on this a little bit yesterday, the acceleration is good, the speed is good when needed. So which one's faster, it doesn't matter, in my opinion. I don't care, I mean, I know the new Roadster coming out, that to me is, I know what Tesla's doing with the Roadster. It's just basically they're really showing their power, their, what they're capable of doing. But is it going to be like an everyday vehicle for somebody? Heck no. I just don't see it. The Roadster is going to be a monster house.
It's fast. Yeah, I keep talking to a friend of mine, keep trying to compare it. Well, I can do that in a motorbike. Okay, yeah, motorbike?
No,
car.
I highly doubt it. And look, as somebody who rides motorcycles, I can tell you the Roadster is going to take on pretty much any bike right now. Wow. Well, congratulations. Seriously, it's a great car.
We've been loving it. I think I mentioned last time we were coming up from a smart car. So the little tiny two-seater, great for commuting, but we've always kind of wanted the Tesla. We wanted the electric car.
I don't blame you. I mean, seriously, how can you not want it? Let's give her a launch time. Let's give it a try.
Yeah, let's get it going. That's what we got Tesla for.
Nice. It's got a good kick. It's definitely slower. We know that. I think you may have felt that too. It doesn't have the same pull, but man, does it ever pull. It's crazy comparing this car to the Model S, but again, this is a smaller car. It wasn't designed to do what the Model S does, and this is not a performance. Remember, he uses this every day, but
remember, you've got the 100 kilowatt battery, so it can draw faster from it.
That's right. This is really impressive, though. I mean, you're not going to have a problem beating out pretty much any other car on the road, unless it's Tesla. But that kind of applies to me too, because a P100 will kick my behind. Or actually, a Model 3 Performance might actually take me on, take the Model S 100. Unlike mine, where it just that instant hit in the gut and just throws you back, and your head goes back, and you go, "Why stop?" This is very, very smooth. It's very, the acceleration is very, it's there, but it's also very smooth. It's not a, you don't get that, you know,
get a jarring start.
Yeah. So I mean, see, it's not like that relentless feeling in your gut or in your head, but yet it still picks it up.
Ramp up at the beginning.
Right. It really works. I think that's actually very smart. That's really, really nice. I gotta say, man, I'm way more impressed with this than I thought I would be. I mean, seriously, congratulations. This is an awesome car.
It's a very cool car. We're very happy with it. Like we talked back to the acceleration. Generally speaking, do I need that sort of acceleration?
No.
I'm a commuter. What for?
No, and you know what? It's got plenty, especially from a rolling start too. So if you gotta go, so there it is. See, like, you can go. That's it. You're out of there. So you don't have to worry about, you know, having that instant as much as you have to have that go-go. I say the go-go juice, right? Just want to go. There's a lot of things about this car that I don't think a lot of people understand yet. So, as I promised, I am going to go into a little bit more details about the car. And the best part is I have an actual Model 3 owner here, so he's going to be able to tell me about his car, at least answer some of my questions. So in the beginning of the video, I said that there's, you know, to adjust the steering wheel, everything is here. So let me see if I got this straight. So if we go to in here, we have the mirrors, and then the mirrors are basically adjustable from the left, so the left wheel. And that's pretty straightforward, because apparently this way, that way, this way, this way, and then if you click on it, the whole thing, then it just changes mirror. This is pretty straightforward. I got it once he told me.
Which also works for tapping as well.
Oh yeah, and there's of course a touchscreen, because it's an iPad. Of course, the steering is also right here, which is really interesting because it's a combination between this and this still. So it's not all done through here. This is only where you're activating the option to what you want to use the wheel for. Is that correct? Okay, good. So we got that. The next thing that I found really interesting, we did this earlier, was this guy. Now, everybody and their grandmother talk about this a lot, but I don't know how many people really truly understand it. And so this big vent running all the way across is basically what, yeah, you can see it. So this big vent is basically what is giving us the airflow here, right?
That, and there's also an additional one at the back end of the central console for your rear passengers.
Okay.
That's, where's that hiding?
Somewhere.
Where is that hiding?
So
there it is.
Okay, and then so with this one, the interesting part is obviously the fact that we can basically adjust the airflow, which is really, really interesting. I just made a little horn right there, see? Which is really interesting because it can really control how the air flows through the cabin. I have to say it's very unique.
It is unique, and one thing that I keep hearing about is you do have to do that from the console. You don't have physical controls to do things with. And as the driver, I interact with the screen very little. Most of the time it's, I'm looking for the speed, you control autopilot from the stocks. I do very little with the actual screen.
Okay. This is actually more in the line of sight than I thought it would be. It's really not that far out of the line of sight because the way I look at it is, and hopefully the back camera kind of gets this, but if I'm looking here and I gotta look down or I gotta look there, it's basically the same thing. It's just a matter of where I'm looking. So I honestly don't have an issue with this. I thought I would have a big issue. I don't. I'm quite happy with it. I think for the Model 3, having this particular display the way it is here, I find that it's more user friendly, because almost everybody is now used to having a iPad or, you know, a tablet of some sort, and literally putting a tablet right here I think is more friendly for a lot of the new people entering this market. So I think that's a great choice, and I am actually pretty impressed with it. I really like it. Now, can you move the tablet at all?
No, it's
done.
Fixed.
It's fixed.
It's fixed. It's not going anywhere.
We do know about this right there. So obviously, if you have a phone, you can just punch it in, let it charge. Pretty straightforward. This guy over here though, there's quite a bit of room in there.
That's a deeper storage in front here.
Yes.
My USB ports are actually under that.
Yes.
So I get the thumb drive to drive my dash cam and that sort of thing.
Yep.
And the second one's just a charging cable.
Very nice. And what would you say is
yeah, it's light touch.
It's all light touch. That's
if you
right.
do it very hard enough, it'll actually complain, going, "Close it gently."
So so basically, Tesla's trying to teach you how to be a gentle person. See, how much better can this get? Again, it's unbelievable to me that. Oh, look at that! More space here. That's great. Lots of space. Cool. Don't worry, he has nothing naughty in here.
My charge tag.
So lots of space. It's really well done. I do like the layout. I think it's a great car. Ultimately, it's the little things about this car that I really enjoyed.
This also does have a glove box.
It does have a glove box, which actually I believe is accessed through here.
Car glove box.
And there's the glove box,
complete with a necessary J1772 adapter.
Yep, that's always a must. And the tire pressure gauge. I like that. Actually, I just bought one of those this morning. It's a very, very straightforward car, and the craziest part about this is I can never explain to most of you guys how wonderful these cars are. And you know, I've actually had somebody comment that I probably should drive one a little bit more before I make a comment on it. Thank you to Andre for actually allowing this to happen, because this way at least I can now say, well, I have driven it. And I do have to say that it is peppy. It is pretty good. One thing we did talk about off camera is that it's not as jumpy as the Model S. My Model S, mine is a little bit more aggressive. For those of you guys who don't know, I have a 100D. You should know. But I like the smoothness of this car. As for, you know, the suspension, great suspension. Honestly, I've heard you say this, and I heard a few other people say this, that the ride is not as comfortable. Honestly, I would say this is a lot more comfortable than well over 70, if not 80% of the cars on the road today, and I'm talking in the same price range. All right, so could you tell us about the trunk?
So we're looking at the trunk. Unlike the S, it is a little more manual. I do still have the gas lifts. It lifts itself. Standard trunk style item. I do have the aftermarket all-wheel mats installed.
Well, look at you going fancy.
It's a fairly distant, lots of space in the trunk. The back seats do fold down, so you can actually extend out into the main compartment. Okay. You also have the under trunk. So there's even additional space underneath to pack in a little more items.
Hey, look at that. He's got the Model 3 long range right there, right there, right there.
Long range, all-wheel drive.
Look at that. Somebody forgot to clean that out.
Actually, I left it in there.
Ah, you left it in there on purpose.
The other minor item, the emergency escape button. Should you be locked in your trunk, you can use this to open the trunk from the inside.
Cool. And of course it's manual, right?
It is a manual trunk, so it doesn't close for you, but...
Well, look at that.
Again, also manual. It's not the largest of storage areas.
That is tiny, yeah.
But keeps your charger kit. We've got the emergency kit for if something happens. We've got granola bars and knife.
Nice.
survival bits. It also has your grocery bag hooks that you can hook onto there so you don't wander around.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so opening the car, how do you do that? How do you open the car?
Normally, the phone is paired to the car, and the car will recognize the phone's close and will open the doors for you as soon as you try actually opening the door. Right now it is not opening because
let's see, it's not opening?
I have actually disabled Bluetooth on my phone specifically so my car won't recognize it.
Okay.
Because the alternate mechanism is the Tesla Black Card.
Oh, the black card. Look at that.
You get 2 of these with the car normally. They're reasonably cheap. They even tell you on the back what goes on.
Okay.
This acts as a proximity card. You attach it onto the door side, driver side pillar only. It does not work on the passenger side. The car will recognize, honks, the mirrors come out.
And there you go.
Now ready to roll.
So now the thing with that key though is it is only active for about 2 minutes.
For about 2 minutes, you can sit down, hit the brake pedal to activate the car like you would in all the other places. If you do not activate it in time, there is a second place, which is right here, just behind the cup holders.
Okay.
So you can tap it again to reactivate the car, hit your brake pedal, off you go.
So all you have to do is tap it, you don't have to leave it there.
You just tap it, put it away, drop it in the cup holder.
Perfect.
So if your phone isn't recognized, this works.
Awesome. And how do you lock it right now? Oh, that's it.
Also recognize you, fold the mirrors.
Very nice. All right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Truly appreciate it. With all that said, please consider subscribing to the channel. Follow us on Instagram because we are on Instagram as well. That's primarily what I like to be on. And with all that said, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Special,
see you later.
Special thanks to Andre again, and look forward to the next video. See ya.